Hi, this is Elliot from Magoosh, and in this video we're going to talk about how to greet the examiner in the iELTS speaking section, the very first moments of the test. All right, now why should we plan for this? Okay, it's only a couple of seconds really where you're coming into the room and you exchange greetings with the examiner. So why is it important to have a plan for this and to focus on this? Okay, well, first of all, it can help you feel less nervous. If you know some things you want to say and how it's likely to go, it's more likely you're going to relax for those first few moments of the test, okay? And also, just as a principle of exam preparation, right? There are many things on the IELTS exam that are unknown before you take the test, right? You don't know, for example, what reading passages you're going to have or what listening passages you're going to listen to. But you do know that you're going to enter the room and exchange some greetings with the examiner. So you might as well know what to do on those kinds of things. Okay, there are other examples of that throughout the IELTS exam that you could also have a plan for to take away any uncertainty before the test day. Okay, so why plan for this? Because we can, is basically the answer. All right, now what is the importance of greeting the examiner? Well, one reason it's important is because you want to make a good first impression. Okay, you want, as soon as you meet your examiner and you share your first words, you want them to feel that you are ready to go, right? But don't worry about it too much if you do mess things up a little bit. Even if you have come in with a great plan, but you feel a little nervous and you stumble over your words, it's okay because the IELTS speaking test is scored as a whole, right? It's all three sections of the test that they look at. So if you make mistakes right away because you're nervous or for any other reason, and then you come back and you do really great on the rest of the test, you can still perform, get a really good score on your speaking test, okay? So it's important to do as well as you can throughout the test, but if you make mistakes here and there, it's okay, even with the greeting. All right, but a second reason that greeting the examiner is important is because it affects your confidence. And this is, I think, by far the more important reason why preparing for this section of the test is important. To score well, you need to have good, accurate English from beginning to end, okay? That's to get your highest score that you can. And when you feel like you're starting off well, it's more likely you're going to continue doing well. You're going to feel confident. You're going to feel like you're on a roll, as we sometimes say. You're moving ahead without too much effort and without having to think too hard. It's when you start making mistakes that people start getting really nervous and flustered, okay? That's another thing to prepare for. You need to be able to get over those instances. But if you can start off really, really well, that's a great advantage for you on test day, right? So you want to be calm, confident, okay? You want to try to get off as smoothly as you can and continue the test as smoothly as you can. Okay, now let's think about what to do and what to say when you're actually entering the room. Okay, so when you first open the door, I think it's a great idea to ask permission to come in. Okay, that's something that we do commonly, and it's a nice little thing a nice polite thing to do to get the conversation started between you and your examiner. So say something like, "May I come in?" And it's very likely your examiner will say, "Yes, please come in. Have a seat," something like that. Okay. So it also sounds very natural in English in conversation to use contractions, okay? And that is actually more natural sounding than if you don't use contractions in most cases, okay? So if you're going to introduce your name, instead of saying "my name is," okay, you say "my name's whatever," okay? So I would say "my name's Elliot," and that sounds much more natural than "my name is Elliot," okay? So contract things. Focus on that in the phrases that you're going to use when you're first entering the room, okay? It sounds very much more comfortable that way, right? Make eye contact and smile, okay? That's an important thing to do. It shows confidence, okay? And it will make you feel more confident too. If you walk in with your head up high, you're smiling, you are looking your examiner in the eye, it'll have an effect on you as well when you do those kinds of things. Okay, then it's also quite appropriate to come in and give your examiner a handshake or bow to them. Okay, it depends on what's culturally appropriate in the region where you're taking the exam. Any of those types of things that are common where you live are perfectly fine to do. Okay, then some additional tips. So it is very likely that your examiner is going to introduce him or herself first before you have a chance to do that. If that doesn't happen, if you make it all the way into the room to your table where you're going to have your examination and nobody's introduced themselves yet, then you may do that. You may say, hello, my name is, and give them your name at that point. Make sure, really throughout the whole test, but especially right at the beginning, that you're focusing on your enunciation, okay? Your clear pronunciation of words, all right? Now, that doesn't mean you need to slow down unnaturally, and it definitely doesn't mean you need to avoid things like contractions, like we just said. You want to speak at a natural rate of speed, for sure. But you also want to make sure from the very beginning that you're speaking as clearly as you can, okay? Keep your head up and look at your examiner in the eye, okay? Not just when you're entering the room, but try to maintain that eye contact throughout, okay? It is one way that you can show confidence in yourself and your abilities, okay? Try your best to stay relaxed, okay? One of the things that happens, as you're, I'm sure, aware, in your IELTS interview is that they begin with, okay, at the very beginning, these sort of personal introductions. And then part one of the test, they're going to give you personal kinds of questions about your hometown, things you like to do, hobbies, interests, things like that, okay? The first part of the test is intended to kind of help you to get going, to help you get moving with your examiner to answer questions. The questions get harder and harder as you go. So just try to use those first few moments and then into part one of the test to get your nerves under control and answer the questions the best that you can, okay? Really work on this as you're preparing for the speaking section, trying to work on your nerves a little bit as you're answering questions. But you're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. So when you make mistakes, try to correct yourself and just keep moving, okay? You've got to really focus for your test. 11 to 15 minutes is all it's going to take, and you've got to just maintain your focus throughout that entire experience the best you can. So when mistakes happen, try to move on, try to correct yourself, and just keep going. So that's our video on how to greet the examiner in the IELTS speaking section. And if you want more information about the IELTS speaking test, I've got a resource for you down below in the description. It's a complete guide to IELTS speaking with information and advice about all three parts of the test. So go check that out if you want more information about the speaking test. And if you like this video, go ahead and check out these other videos on our YouTube channel to learn even more about the IELTS exam. Okay, so we'll see you in the next video.